to another edition of Meet the Metapreneur. Today, we are heading out to London to meet Stefania, who's a very successful entrepreneur and an investor in the Web3 space. Welcome to the show, Stefania.
Hi, Sharad. Thank you so much for having me.
No, absolutely. It's a pleasure. And I'd request you to please introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, well, that's an interesting question. So I started my journey initially in financial markets, where I funded Cassiopeia Services that started as a financial PR investor relation company for small and mid cap. So we were doing lots of IPO, especially in the natural resource and financial space. In 2016, 2017, I started to get to know Bitcoin, and I just basically fall down the rabbit hole. And since then, even with my PR company, we kind of like move towards more blockchain-based project. I got involved as an advisor, a bigger blockchain project, and still at the moment, I work with IOHK that built the Cardano blockchain. And then obviously, there was a lot of things about NFT, about DeFi, a lot of opportunities that were unfolding in our eyes. So I started to become more active as an investor as well. So I would say that I'm kind of like doing a few things as an advisor, a consultant, and also as an investor VC, the way you want to call it. And I'm amazed and I love this space. So especially, you know, with the Metaverse, the title of your show is amazing because it's quite cutting edge. So.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, even my business title now is Chief Metaverse Officer. And, you know, I did a Google search 3 months back. There were less than 50 people with that title. Now there are more than 500. So clearly, This is getting a lot of traction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, super. So I love your story and I love your journey thus far. I'm curious to know, how do you see this industry evolving? Like, where is Metaverse going? Where is Web3 going? What's your take on, you know, the future of this industry?
Well, it's funny because yesterday I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine that is a game and tech pioneer. And he was saying to me, really, Metaverse has always been here. It's basically a virtual world. That's what it is. And some other people would argue actually a metaverse is a virtual world with VR and IR. So it's kind of like depend the way you see it. But I tend to agree that the metaverse is this virtual world that now we are taking more and more part, especially with COVID. I would say that kind of COVID and the lockdown, it kind of boosted these online e-commerce, you know, virtual meeting. Zoom wasn't even a thing, you know, before COVID, and then you know, it kind of blow everything up. And I would say that at that point with crypto and blockchain, there's been a lot of experimentation, you know, with NFT and definitely gaming that is becoming more and more pervasive in the metaverse. So where I think we are heading to, definitely the metaverse is at the very early stage in the sense of like interaction that you can do within this virtual world. There will be more games. They are going to be integrated in the metaverse, and there will be another way for people to kind of interact. It's quite interesting. There are questions that I'm still asking myself, and those are around regulation of the metaverse. So those are probably we are too early talking about regulation in the metaverse. We have not even regulated the basic, you know, the stable coin. But I think a regulation in the metaverse is going to be interesting, and also finding a way to build the product and to build experiences in the metaverse where people have to stay in, have to use, and have to, because, you know, you see sometimes there are brands experimenting in the metaverse and they do something, but the customer, they are not really pulled in. They are not really into it. So it's not a question to go in the metaverse to do something that you really need to be addicted. You need to have a purpose for why the metaverse experience exists. And I don't think we are there yet, but I'm sure we will be very soon. So I'm very excited. And that's not just for the retail sector. That's not just for workspace, for example. Also for education, think about people that want to visit a museum, they want to learn things, and they can do it in the metaverse. They don't have to travel. So there are lots of advantages that the metaverse can actually bring to our society and to our economy. But we still need to kind of put some pieces, of the puzzle. They are not right yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's early days for this whole industry. As technology is accelerating, at a very rapid pace, I call it at the speed of thought. There's 6G that's going to come soon, which will, totally solve all bandwidth issues. So technology will take care of that. Second thing is mass adoption will start when people are more educated and more aware of all the terms and terminologies used in the space. And also, I believe in the price of the headsets, the 3D headsets, when they come down closer to perhaps $100, then more people will be able to afford and get into the space. And the real challenge, like you said, is for brands to create a reason for people to come to the metaverse, right?
Exactly. It's like, if you play a game, you have a reason, you play the game. And that's why there are lots of people that spend hours and hours playing a game. And now I think what brands and companies has created in the metaverse is not so addictive or doesn't have a stronger purpose for people to rush to the metaverse or to be there for a long time.
Yeah, and like you said, brands have to create that immersive experience in 3D because we live in a 3D world, right?
Right.
So even on the internet, people need to replicate those immersive experiences. And that could be a good reason for people to spend more time, with the brands. And of course, we say this many times, community is at the heart of Web3. So what do you think? Should brands have a community first approach rather than concentrating too much on the metaverse build? What's your opinion on that?
Well, obviously, it is all driven by community because that's their customers. So I think the challenge for brands is really how they can survive, how they can be relevant in 10 years where the customer base is not the same as it is today, or it was yesterday before COVID. So there is this new generation that is living more and more online, is more interested in gaming, is consuming information, not watching on TV or reading a newspaper like I used to do when I was. They look at TikTok, they look at Instagram. That's also why lots of brands are actually selling their product or doing most of the marketing on Instagram. And the metaverse is really the next place where, they think they can kind of serve this audience and engage with this audience. So definitely there is a big task for brands to empower, to listen and empower the community, the online community, which is quite different from the community they used to have, because it's a community that is global, is a community that has to be engaged in different ways, and has to be kept on the pulse. Is not a slow community that can wait. It's somebody that you need to keep getting interested, you need to reward, you need to stimulate. And that's, I think, is a big challenge for brands.
Yes, I call it, you have to convert consumers to fansumers. They should love your brand. They should be your brand ambassadors.
Exactly. I'm so glad that you mentioned that point, because one of the things that I was always frustrated in the fashion industry that I love is this influencer model where brands pay all these celebrity. They maybe don't really even care about the brands. And then you have got all these customers. They spend loads and loads of money, and they should be the one they are promoting the brand, and they should be rewarded with, discounts, presents, and they are not. And the present all go to the, the celebrity. Then they resell the stuff on the Vestiaire Collective. So I'm kind of like very passionate about this topic, but I do agree with you, more empowering the community and the real customer.
Yeah, and Stefania, I'm very impressed by your YouTube channel. You have 13,000 plus subscribers, and your podcast is also, just amazing. So can you share how you got to so many people, and how often do you record new sessions? Please share with our audience.
I have to. So my podcast is called, is a YouTube channel called Financial Fox. I started in 2016, and I was mainly, 17, I was mainly doing interviews with CEOs of London listed company as a way for them to communicate with their investors. And then from 2018, I just basically did most of them with the crypto leaders, entrepreneurs, Web3. I still do some alternative investment, but we kind of like try to we try to speak with leaders, with innovators, with people that are actually game changers. And how did we get there? Well, it's all down to my team. I have a fantastic team, and I mean, it's about choosing the right guest. I would say people they can engage. Is very important. You need a guest that is able to engage and not being boring, right? The second thing is about being persistent. So, sometimes it doesn't go the way you want, but you keep doing it. Usually we do once a week. There are times that we record twice a week, and then we promote it across social media. So, Twitter, LinkedIn, we do promote also depending on the topic, also on Reddit and other channels. And yes, I would say it's a team effort, and is about, do something that you're passionate about. When you are interviewing people, choose the one you want to know about it, right? Why, you want to learn. It's been a lot about learning for me, really. And I think I learned so much, especially in crypto, just interviewing people like Charles Hoskinson, interviewing people like the founder of Polygon, founder of Phantom, Avalanche. I spoke with Artifact, Benoit, but Sandbox. So it's about that. Be passionate, keep doing it, and yes, try to create content that people like, and then promote it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm doing something similar in Dubai. I've almost hosted 60 plus webinars in the last 2 years, and it's a great learning process, because once you have smart panelists, there are so many precious takeaways, and that has helped me in my learning journey as well. And I hope I can qualify to be on your show someday. And I would love to be on that, and reach out to your audience as well. But for today, I want to thank you, Stefania, for sharing your journey in this industry. And before I let you go, is there some tip you want to share with people who are entering this industry for the first time?
You mean as investor or as
just things that they should look out for, what will help them, understand the trends in this industry? How can they keep pace? What should they be reading, etc.?
Right. So I would just say they need, first of all, to get educated, to skill up. So if they're interested in NFTs or in DeFi, they will have an interest, whatever is finance, whatever is creative industry, can be digital art. And then they have to learn. They have to read. They have to read different kind of publications. So I would say, I always read the FT. Okay, that's an example. And I always read CoinDesk. And I listen to all the podcasts from CoinDesk myself. I cook, I put the podcast, I go out with the dog, I listen Bankless, which is another amazing podcast. So I think this is very important. So like educate yourself. Second is about start to look, project that you might be interested in and kind of like follow them, see how they build the project, see the people are involved. If you are an investor, I would say the first things that you have to look if you want to put any money, or even if you want to get involved in any project, even as an employee, right? You need to look at the people behind it, at the investors and the founders. And then if you like those people, you share the same value, then, then jump on board. I think that's is more important, the people, than whatever has been released for the project, right? Even if it's very early stage. And then I will say, this year is going to be a tough year. It's going to be a year of recession. Bitcoin is not going to go to 100,000. Bitcoin is probably going to go lower. So you have got plenty of time to learn, to network, and that's networking is also very important. I do events in London, like you do them in Dubai, then I will come to visit you as well. Connect with people, share your ideas. That's super important. Get out there. You have 1 year where you can level yourself up, and then 2024 is coming. We have got the halving, and we will know that the bull market is going to be at the door. So get ready, because this year is the year of building, working on yourself, and getting ready for capturing value when the bull market starts again.
Yes, those are great tips. And if I may just add, try and attend as many conferences as you can, because there are lots happening. And once you're out there in real life, meeting real people, you have real learning. So on that note, I'm going to thank you finally, Stefania, for being on the show. And I look forward to staying connected with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharad. It was a pleasure.
Likewise.